Welcome, everyone, to episode 75 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, do we take the pill?
Red one or blue one?
Well, this one was just a red one.
I don't think they give you a choice here.
There's no choice.
In fact, there is no choice. You're right.
Well, or is there? Let's talk about it. As we have played We Happy Few by Compulsion Games.
Mm-hmm.
This game. Mm-hmm. And this game came out back in August of 2018. As usual, I play this on the PC. 11.2 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
What happened? Maybe it's a rounding error. I got 11.3 gigabytes on the Xbox One.
Well, Compulsion, they got to do what they got to do. What kind of game is this?
I put first-person action game, but I think yours is a little bit better.
Yeah, I put first-person survival game. FPS. It still works on FPS. It's just not, you're not shooting things.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, so very much you're not a Doom guy or whoever going around killing people. You're very much someone who is got to sneak around and be careful what they do.
You are out of your depth.
Yes, very much so. What is that game loop?
Make choices as you attempt to flee from the brainwashed citizens.
That is pretty fair, but I wrote complete objectives while trying not to get caught, because you're not only just running away from those brainwashed citizens, you can very well, depending on what you're wearing, very well anger people.
Yes, you're right. And it is definitely more objective based. You don't have to just run.
Right.
Except for the times where you have to just run.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So shall we get into it?
Yeah. Why don't you hit me with your first thing that you liked about this?
Well, I thought the art style, the theme of the 60s London kind of quirky, Austin Powers kind of feel was there to it. I like that. I like that about it. And I thought, well, you know what? I technically beat the game.
What? How?
Yeah. So at the very beginning of the game, when you pick the pill, it gives you the choice.
Yep.
This is what I was talking about with your choice. It says either take the pill or ignore it. If you take the pill, the game ends.
No, right, for real?
Yeah. The credits roll and that's it.
Wow. So that's great.
Yeah, I think I beat the game faster than Observation. So I don't know if you remember that. That was a game another one where I found the way to end the game quickly. So world record right there. And they should put that on how long to beat. It should actually be one of the hour times to beat also. But yeah, I beat the game once, so that was great. I felt good about that. I liked the custom difficulty.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool. So outside of the normal, easy, normal, hard, very hard, whatever it is, there's a mode that you can customize even that part of it. Like even if it's you can have easy combat, or you can have what do you call it? Whether you're dealing with stealth and all that stuff, like the enemy AI, how they detect you and stuff like that, how stupid they could be and whatnot. And then I think there was one other choice, I forget, but it was cool that you can kind of mix and match your play style from there too. So I was really happy about that. It was really cool. And more games should do that, I think. Give you that kind of, those little levers to play around with if they can. What about you, Tom?
Speaking of things that surprised me or surprised us, it has an arcade mode, which I wasn't expecting. Like the option at the beginning of the game to set, like you could play a story. I assumed that this was only going to be a story game and that was going to be
Right.
what it was, right? But then it's like, no, you could kind of play this as a sandbox. You could play this as an arcade. You could play like there were a couple of
Hmm.
different ways to play the game, and I was
Okay.
surprised that those were options, right?
Oh.
Because again, I'm expecting it to be a, especially based on like the blurb and whatever. It's like, yeah, your choices may have consequences and this and that. I was like, oh, okay, so this is like a very plot story driven game. And then
Right.
the idea that you could really like play with it, just play kind of the mechanics of the game
Hmm.
as its own game, and that you have the ability to customize them to such a large degree is
Oh.
pretty cool.
Did you try it?
I did not,
Okay.
because I started with the story mode, and I thought, generally speaking, I thought it was pretty fun. Like the plot reminds me of Equilibrium, right? Like you were using the Matrix analogy, but
Yeah.
I was thinking about Equilibrium, right? Like you got to take your
Yep.
dose, right?
Yep.
Like the idea that everyone in society is on the same kind of medication, and if you're
Yeah.
not on the medication, people will know, and
Yeah.
you're going to be in trouble. Like you're
Yeah.
going to be in trouble if you're not taking your meds. Um, and so it creates a very like creepy, unsettling tone. It's like
Hmm.
pervasive the whole time, where it's sort of,
Yeah.
like you said, I guess you win the game if you take your meds. If you don't take your meds, you're kind of like got to pretend that you're on your meds
Hmm.
so that you can, not be chased by everyone.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess that's the other. Thank God that the one of the difficulty settings you can turn off the whole survival management part of it,
Ah,
where it's like you had to make sure you're fed and like you have enough sleep and you have enough liquids in you and all that stuff. Like, oh, thank God I turned that off because I would have been immediately uninstalled this game because that stuff is not fun to me at all.
oh,
The crafting system though was pretty. I liked the way they implemented the crafting system in this game
yeah,
because, like, yeah, you pick up everything in this game, which is one of those things. You but the cool thing is, if like you pick up enough of a particular item, and then you're going to like use whatever that crafted item is going to be. Like, so for example, you pick up bobby pins, and if you go to a lock and you haven't crafted it yet, it'll automatically craft it for you and then use it on that lock, which I thought was really cool. Like you're not going into the menu. It's just like you're kind of still in the world and all that stuff. So that was great. I like that.
yeah. I appreciated how simple and like intuitive it was, and that
Hmm.
like the game explained these sorts of mechanics like as you needed them. So like you
Right.
said, I loot everything. So I'm just like grab, 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 grab as I go through the world. And then I get up to a door that's locked, and it's like, hey, you've got all these bobby pins. You want to turn them into lock picks and try to unlock this
Right.
door? And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, please. Like,
Yeah.
hey, all this crap that I collected is worth something now.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did you like about this?
I also thought that the quests were easy to follow and it was hard to get
Hmm.
lost. Sometimes when you play these games, I end up getting super lost and I don't know where to go. Um, but the game does a really good job of like marking and naming waypoints and just being like, this is the direction you need to head. This is where the thing is. Like, go over here and you'll progress the story. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. The UI was definitely very good for like I guess it's kind of an open world-ish game, right?
Yeah.
And on top you had the compass on the top,
Yep.
but on top of that you also had the waypoint that you can, like when you turn it, it like kind of tells you, okay, it's over here, and it's like in this direction. It was a good use of the interface. I also like the way that they did the sneaking, not the sneaking mechanics, but like the way you observe people while you're in your sneak mode, because you see their footsteps kind of outlined. I thought that was pretty cool, as opposed to like a mini map where
Yeah.
you're just watching someone's pattern and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. What else was there? Yeah, like you said, the quests were easy to follow, and that was great. And I thought that even though the humor was, there was like some dark humor there
Oh, yeah.
for sure, and they did a pretty good job of that. Oh, like the masks like that. That was like really creepy. Like I mean, they weren't really masked, right? Were they painted
They
on?
were
Like I don't.
painted on, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So it was those. That was very creepy, especially when the pinata scene was just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? So yeah,
Yep. So, speaking of dark and twisted nonsense, what didn't we like?
yeah. What about it? What didn't you like, Tom? How about you start with this one?
Um, so we you met I mentioned it before. Everything is lootable. So for me, that's a
Yes.
problem. I'm going to be there all day, looting everything.
Yeah.
Um, as a consequence of that, I had a power cell before I needed one, but the
Hmm.
game didn't account for that. Like, it's still
Oh.
like, it didn't, like, automatically check off that quest box. It was like, "No, you still need to get a power cell." And I was like, "But power cell, like."
Did you try to drop it and pick it up? Like I got it.
Oh, no, I didn't think of that. I
Hmm.
But that's a good point. Maybe I could have done that. But anyway, do a better job with your quest tracking. So, like, if I need to go find something and I already have it, well, guess what, game? You should check against in a game that has all this inventory, you better check to make sure I
Oh yeah,
already have it in my inventory.
that is true. I will
Uh,
say though that even though everything is lootable, I think for the most part, the items that you loot are useful.
yeah.
There's nothing like I like remember at Fallout 76, we were just picking up random things and it was like, what am I doing with this stuff? Yeah, you could sell it, but for what? Like some menial amount of bottle caps. I think it was they use bottle caps in that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it was like I don't know. I don't know about all this, but yeah, for the most part, everything that I've picked up with like either you could use like a glass bottle to distract someone. I tried to throw a glass bottle at someone that didn't really do that much damage, so that was a no on my part. But yeah, like it was. I felt like even though like you could pick everything up, they were useful things.
Uh,
But
I agree with you. It
yeah,
was useful or could be turned into something useful.
right.
But that leads me on to another negative that I had, which was I crafted a healing item, but the quest that I had that was like craft the healing item was not the active quest at the time.
Oh.
And so the game did not mark it as complete.
Oh.
So I had a quest that was like make a healing item, but I had a different quest active. I made the healing item, and then the game was like, "You haven't made that healing item," and I'm like, "But I've got it right here."
You should have done the drop test.
I guess
Dropped and picked it
maybe,
up.
maybe.
um, I also will say it's another game where the lip syncing was off. It was pretty noticeable for me. I was like, ugh. It bothered me a bit.
Yeah, I've got to double down on that and say that on the Xbox One, it just looks kind of crappy in general.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if you were allowed to play it on Cloud Play
Well,
because
maybe.
it is available. It is available to play on Cloud Play.
I wonder if it would have looked better, like streaming off of someone's
Maybe,
Fire hardware. Yeah, I hope so.
maybe it's possible.
But it my load times were also terrible. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This game was interesting. I thought also maybe it's because I was playing Resident Evil a lot or something like that. But the walk and run speed felt way too high. Like I felt when I was walking, I was running,
Mm.
and then the run speed was just like this guy's Usain Bolt at that point.
Full on sprint.
He's full. It was crazy sprint. Like I wish I had that in Resident Evil, but this was like it was jarring to me, like how fast he was moving.
Too fast.
Uh,
Got to
too
move fast.
fast. Sonic the Hedgehog here. And it's a first person shooter, or it's a first person game. I didn't see my feet, Tom.
That's
I
that's
didn't see my
because they were spinning like circles like Sonic the Hedgehog.
all the time. Yeah, you're right.
That's why you
That's why
couldn't
I
see them.
couldn't
They
see
were
my
just
feet.
moving way too fast.
It's too fast. This game was too fast for me. What else do you not like about this game?
I also put down here that I was dropped in the middle of the story with lots of
Mm,
questions. And generally speaking, like that is not my bag. Like
mm.
I like stories to be told in a more or less linear fashion. And the like You don't know what's going on, like, and you're not gonna know what's going on probably till the end of the game. Like,
Right.
screw you. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, tell me your
Yeah.
tell me your story like you're not on drugs.
Well, that's the point. He wasn't on drugs. He took it off. He stopped taking the drugs. The other thing is, I'm not a fan of playing stealth games in first person.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I feel like when you're playing a stealth game, like it has to be third person so you can get your bearings better. With like, whether it was Metal Gear Solid or Splinter Cell or whatever. Like I was more comfortable doing that because then you can kind of peek around the walls and stuff like that. Whereas this game doesn't. You have your blinders and you have to like constantly have your head on a swivel. It's not my kind of game, like the way I play it, but
There's a difference in tension though, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
by design. They put you in first person so that it's scarier.
right. That's true. That's true. I mean, yeah,
Because you
no,
have a smaller field of view because you can't see if your character's 100% hidden because
hmm
stuff.
yeah, that's fair.
You have to peek out, and if you peek
Yeah,
out, you risk yourself. So it's like
yeah, very true.
it's by design.
Any other thoughts that you had here for this game, Tom?
I generally speaking, it kind of reminds me of BioShock. I don't know if you got that same kind of feeling to it. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe because it's like a really creepy future setting,
yeah,
where it's like science and medicine and drugs and you know.
right.
But I'll be honest, I think BioShock did it better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this wasn't as big of a team that made
Fair.
this game compared to 2K or I don't know. Dang it, I don't know. You get that. It was 2K games and their big ass development team that's over there. Um, but
It was also a very long time ago.
it was also a very long time ago. Also true. And yeah, give it the benefit of the doubt. But I will also mention this game does have Xbox Cloud saves and Cloud Play, as I mentioned, and Play Anywhere. So again, you can pick up where you left off on your PC, your mobile, or Xbox. How long to beat, though, says this game takes from 21 hours to 40 hours. So if you mainline the game, it's 21 hours. If you do some side stuff, you can get all the way up to 40 hours to play this game.
That's a big spread. That's double the
That's a
game.
big spread. It really is. You know what I was also thinking about? At the beginning of the game, like when you start the game, it asks you who you want to play as, but you can't click anyone else. There's a
Yeah.
little arrow. So there's like, it seems like you can play multiple characters. Like maybe you finish Arthur's story and then you can play as someone else in the game.
Like Weird West.
Like Weird West. Yeah. Yeah. So
The
it's
promise
interesting
of
too.
future characters.
Right. Yes, exactly. Which I will be playing that shortly too. Weird West. But are we going to be playing this game? Are we going to be playing We Happy Few past the hour?
Well, Chris, I think it's good to point out for me that my hour went by very quickly
Mm-hmm.
because I think the mechanics were tight. Like I generally enjoyed the mechanics of it. And the quests were straightforward. So those are two things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Playing the game
Yeah.
was pretty fun.
Right.
Uh, but I'll be honest that the story didn't really grip me. And because I'm so attached to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got to get me with the story. If you don't get me through the story, it's hard for me to come back. Um, so I don't think I'm going back to this, especially understanding that it's going to be at least another 20 hours to get the end of the story. Um,
Right.
and find out questions that should have been answered within the first 30 minutes. So,
Yeah. I'm with you. It's an interesting concept. Again, like doing the kind of Bioshock-ish vibe of like a 60s London, but like I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but like there is something that's happened that's caused all this mayhem. But again, I'm not a fan of the first person stealth game, so I don't think I'm going back to this game. But
You know what I do want to quickly note though, because I didn't
yeah.
know it before we started, is I am curious to try this on the cloud.
Yeah.
Now that you've brought it up, I want to see what that looks like. I want
Yeah.
to see if it makes a noticeable impact in reducing how bad my load times were, and also making the game look better. So, because
Okay.
if I could have 0 load times and the game looked better, that's 2 of my pretty significant detractors pulled off the stack. So that may
Right.
change my view of whether or not I play some more of this.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get an update from you whenever.
Yeah.
So, but those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, send us a comment down below and we promise to read and respond. And as you all know, 1H1D is part of the QTV network. Be sure to check out the streamer on QTV partner Kung Fu Penguin, serving up Fortnite, Minecraft, and a whole lot more family, fun, friendly content. Learn more at quitthebill.com/Kung Fu Penguin. Yeah.
He really should be doing it in a penguin suit. I don't know if he is.
He does.
He does. Good.
He definitely does. So, yeah, he's a good time. It's a good entertaining guy to watch. And speaking of entertaining,
cooler though.
What's that?
If it was an actual penguin. That new Kung Fu.
That would be that's pretty impressive.
Not like an animated one. Okay, I'm not talking like a Kung Fu Panda.
No, an actual actual penguin that knew Kung Fu. Yeah.
So
I don't
get on that.
I don't know if that's
he should get on that. He should get penguin and train it to do Kung Fu.
Right.
And then video that.
But we need to find out what we're playing next time on top of the penguin training here, don't we?
Yes. And we have to go to the tried and true method for game selection.
Surprise Me button is going to tell us what we're playing next. So here we go.
I'm ready to be surprised, Chris.
Okay. I've never played this, but I'm interested to try it. Prey. Not the old one from id, but Prey from Bethesda and Arcane Studios.
Aha. Well,
yeah.
I have played neither of those Preys, so
okay, good. So you're off the hook there. So that's our
we
game.
are on the hook.
We are on the hook for this one though, the 20 whatever one it is. But yes. But anyway, that's our show for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.